Welcome back, Firewood addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. Today we're talking about currency. That's probably the third time since I've been selling wood at the firewood stand that has been completely out, and everything that I had in there was sold and not stolen. I had a sale yesterday where the guy had apparently come before and bought the bonfire rack, and then got one of my $5 non-premium cedar kindling bundles, and then he sent me $40 on Venmo. So I questioned him, like, on Venmo chat, did you bought kindling from the bush side? He said yes. Well, those are $5. So I sent him back $5. I want to be honest with my customers. If they want to tip me, they want to tip me, but I just want to be honest with them and trustworthy. So he overpaid me $5, and I paid him back. So just it's good to be kind to people, right? It's easier to be kind. So anyway, today is Easter. You see this Monday, but happy Easter. I have a special project that I'm working on right now, and it's loud. I'm just gonna say that it's loud, and I don't want to tear up the neighborhood with this loudness on the actual Easter holiday. So I'm going to postpone that, but my back is feeling better. So, and it's nice and sunny outside. I mean, it's the fire gods are upon us right now. It's nice weather in the Pacific Northwest, but I want to be respectful to my neighbors, and so no loud noises today. So it's just going to be me chatting at you. But I have a topic that I want to talk about, of firewood as money. Like when you're stacking wood here or splitting wood, this is the stuff that I got most recently, and I've started into it a little bit with my Fiskars. I'll probably bring over the Champion Transformer to split this up, but this wood is money, good money, and it's something that I make decent amount of cash at the firewood stand. This all here was full, and now it's empty, and now it's time to replenish it. The wood behind it here, that's wood that I bought, and so I have inventory, and I'm currently selling that at my firewood stand. So it's covered right now. I need to uncover it because it's sunny. I didn't want to have some airflow. But this wood is a product, and there's value to this. There's value to this wood. This is money. This piece of wood equals money. Maybe not dollars, maybe more in a sense as one piece, but as a collective. You put this in a pile, in a wheelbarrow, in a bundle, a rack, whatever you want to call it, upwards to a cord plus equals dollars. So your time processing this is money. Money in your pocket, money to put food on the table, money to buy a new saw. Again, like I mentioned this before, but this is money. Well, this wood here, this is my personal right here. I mean, I put it in quotes nowadays, which I will explain in a second, but all this wood here is money. Processed, it has been procured, it's been processed, stacked, looking beautiful, looking gorgeous, and just waiting for the sun to kiss it and the wind to take away the moisture so I can sell it for money. We're not just sitting. sitting there waiting to be sold. It'll be sold soon, not tomorrow, not next week, in several months. But it's work hard now. Later off, you get paid off. It's the weird type of passive income that you get more so with the firewood stand, and kind of if you sell in large quantities. Now, granted, we just heard from Brandon on today's podcast, and hope that you saw that episode where if a customer up there in Alaska, at least in his area, and how he sells his wood is, if a customer texts him, calls him for a few cords, they just go in the yard, and they go from the deck where they have all the logs to the processor to the dump truck, and minimal handling, and then it's done. They're because they sell more or less a greenish or semi-green or semi-seasoned wood. They're not selling seasoned like this. This is how they operate, and that works for them. So, and that's money. They're taking a byproduct of their main-ish job, which is having to clear cut land, and they use the logs to make money, down to even to milling and selling cottonwood, which you'll see on Brandon's channel. I do hope that you all subscribe to his channel so we can ask him to bust out some more cool content for us to see. Anyway, on the note of this maple, usually I reserve the harder woods for my personal use, and the softer woods I sell at my fire stand, or sometimes in an ICB tote that you kind of see here in the corner. But somehow I have figured out how to sell different types of wood, even cottonwood, which is stacked over there. So over here, you kind of see in the distance. Let me walk over there real quick amongst all the nonsense in this backyard. From the cottonwood episode, this is the cottonwood that we got. This is just shy of a third of a cord. There's a few more pieces that need to split up, but this is pretty much it. It's stacked. It was definitely wet when I was getting it off the ground. Definitely some snails and some worms in it, but it was going to take a bit to dry out. But this is what was here in that in that trailer. The trailer looked like it had more than this, but it's really difficult for most of us to predict what a load will actually come out to be when you split it and stack it, because I stack the wood. But anyway, my point is, I have found markets to sell or offload crappy wood, or what I call crappy wood. Markets to sell punky wood that was semi-seasoned, even cookies like cutoffs. I don't feel bad about that, because if you are transparent and open with the potential buyer for what it is and perhaps the moisture content, you can pretty much sell anything. This is my, I would say, personal cookie bin. The back end, the back end has more like longer pieces, and some of it is the cedar that is semi-rotten. Now, I would not want to sell this without the customer knowing that some of the wood is rotten. But you have these pieces here, they're just wonky. These are more smaller cookie pieces in the back here. And this is the stuff that I tend to burn in the early fall, come like October, when I start to burn for the cold season. I will start into this stuff. Now, this is a range of harder and softer woods. And it doesn't matter what it is, it will burn, and I will get decent enough heat. I don't need the hot heat from like the harder woods, like my maple, my hard maple, but it would just be good for now. But I have found this past fall that I could potentially sell these cookies at a lower rate, probably about like $90 for an ICB tote, tossed in, and people will buy it for that amount, and then I make a few bucks on the delivery. So, but then if I do that, then I'm selling the cookies that I had reserved plan for burning in my own personal wood stove come fall. So now I'm kind of at, not a loss, but I'm at like a conundrum of, because usually I've told you all on my channel, if you have been watching for a while, is I have a tendency to separate wood that I process and reserve for myself, and wood that I have reserved and processed to sell at mostly at my firewood stand, or sometimes I'll sell it in the totes. Now this area here this is all full, and like I think I got this, it was full mostly of a premium hard maple in like 2021, and I was using that for when it got super cold, and that was my premium hardwood maple, and I use that for my own personal use. But then I got a customer that was like, that he's my sauna guy, and I kind of talked him into that he needs hardwood to burn in the sauna so he gets a nice hot heat. You're not gonna get that hot heat from like burning pine, for example. So I was selling him, or I am selling him this maple per the size length that he required, but at a premium rate. But over time, that ate through my maple supply. Not your fault, sauna guy. That's anyway. So now this is empty, and I don't have any more wood to burn. I currently, as of late March, today, I have no more personal wood that is seasoned. I'm out. I burned it all because I'm not conservative with my firewood. I'm liberal. I like to keep my house warm because my wife is from Vermont and she likes a warm house, and that's totally fine. So I burn. Yes, sometimes as of late I only burn in the evening time so the house will stay warm overnight, but still to make sure that the house is warm. This maple here is my oldest maple, and it's semi-seasoned, but now I need more airflow because I'm now getting some mold in here. See this mold, and I'm just like, son of a, that's terrible. Like, I don't want mold on my wood. Even though this wood will mostly probably be burned by me, you still don't want mold on your wood. So I need to make sure there's more ventilation, and that's my fault for not spending the time to better these shelters and location. I think I may need to soon is to get up in this oak tree and kind of get some of these limbs off before it starts to get leaves. But I do like the natural divide between my yard and the neighbors, not having to see into my yard and vice versa. But anyway, my point to that little digression is I am now at the point where I am slowly not having a division, not having a divide, a difference between wood that I sell and wood that I keep for my personal use. So I'm not at a loss per se. I'm just making sure that I have enough, because right now I'm burning wood that I have purchased or I have processed to sell. So I'm eating into my profit. And I guess that's not that big of a deal because it's my wood and I can do what I want with it, and I have plenty of wood. So, and it's not that much loss of sales, but I don't know. I mean, like, even like these like wonky pieces here that are like all knotted and funky. This is great. This is great firewood. This will burn almost like a hardwood. But so I would usually reserve this for my personal use. But I can totally find a market for this. I've never been in retail before I did firewood sales, and I can sell anything. I may need to wait a while on it, and that's fine because I can sit on this wood all day long. That's totally fine. Wood, because how I have it, most of my wood, how I have it stored and stacked and covered, it won't go bad. So Yeah, I don't know. If you have any thoughts, if you are a firewood salesperson and you also burn wood in your home, how do you divide it? You let me know in the comments, because right now I'm dealing with this odd conundrum of, like I said, now my wood that I would keep, now I'm slowly selling that wood. So I need to make sure that I can have enough wood for myself and still have the abundance to sell. I guess that's the query. So yeah, you let me know down in the comments. So back on this topic of firewood being currency, I had on one of my ads, my older ads on OfferUp for the tote cages of a cedar chunks. I got a ping on that, and they asked if it's available, and I said it is, but I think the chunks may not be fully dry. So I told the person that I would check the moisture percentage. So I went outside and I checked out the moisture content, and it was between like 18 and like 25, maybe like a 27 on the outside. I didn't split any of them, so that was on the outside. So I conveyed this to the potential buyer, and like, well, that's a little higher than what I knew I would normally like. I'm like, well, you let me know. There's no pressure. I just want to let you know what I have available. And then he was fine, and then he seemed to be fine with it. But then that same day, so this was in like this was on like a Monday or so, and then he wanted the wood on a Wednesday. This is a day that I was not filming. And at the same time, I got a ping from my axe throwing place, and they had more blocks for me, and they made sure that I was aware the blocks are cottonwood. Now, the blocks that I will probably be getting from this place will probably be only cottonwood, because with cottonwood, they will stay moist in the venue that they're in, and to the point where when you throw an axe into the wood, it won't break and split into pieces. It will split, but it will stay together, if that makes any sense. As opposed to like using like kiln dried pine, it would have split the pine, and then that block is dead. Would have to fix it like then and there. Whereas cottonwood is kiln dried, but somehow it will retain an amount of moisture where it will still, the axe head will go into the wood but not split to the point where they need to change it as often. So they had more cottonwood for me. They let me know that it was cottonwood to confirm. I was okay with that. I said yes. So I knew I was picking up this cottonwood blocks, because I figured, if anything, I could just burn it in my home, because like I said before, I'm low on firewood. I have no firewood to burn in my own house if I don't want to cut into wood that I would sell. So I measured this stuff that I put in here. I think you saw this in a few episodes prior. I got two of these bins here, 1 and 2, and I picked from the top on this one. But I asked the guy when I was loading the cage, because they would get more sun, right? But so I messaged the guy, hey, are you interested in any cottonwood blocks? And he's like, well, again, not my ideal wood, but sure, why not? I'm like, okay, great. So I was able to plan it all, where I went to the axe throwing place in the afternoon, came back with a cage basically half full of cottonwood blocks, came back to my house, loaded the remainder of the cage with that cedar blocks over there, heaped it what I could to where the wood, it didn't feel moist, right? And I drove to the house. The guy was in my hometown, so it was not that far away, and I charged him $10 for delivery, and so that was $100 profit. The cedar blocks there are free. The blocks of cottonwood are free. It's just time getting it and processing it, stacking it, all that stuff. But in that situation, I was able to the very same day get the cottonwood blocks and offload them, sell them. I mean, that's the hell of a deal, right? So that was one bill in my pocket. That's cash money for the wood. Wood is currency. Now, that's money. But kind of like in the olden times, and people do this now, but not very often. Trade and barter. So you saw my recent episode on my chainsaws. I don't need any more, but I'm on Marketplace and OfferUp sometimes to check out if I can find some more wood. Because if you're obsessed with firewood, you are a firewood addict, you can't never have enough wood. Wood is our vice. We need more wood. We love to process wood. We like to cut wood up. We love sap on our hands. We throw it in a pile. We stack it. We smell the wood. We love firewood. But I was on Marketplace and I found this old McCulloch chainsaw that looked like a top handle. So I mentioned in my firewood episode, in my chainsaw episode, that I kind of want a top handle and I kind of want an old Mac. So this was the best of both worlds. He had it for he'll probably be watching this episode. The guy that I got the saw from. So he had it for sale, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested, but what about a trade? Would you trade for firewood? He's like, well, I really want the cash, but I can't say no to firewood. So I'm like, okay, well, I can bring over a tote bin of firewood, and we can make a trade. And he was down for that. The only thing about it is I don't have any any more blocks to give him. So I had to cut into my firewood stand wood, which is this stuff here. This is fir and spruce, and then had to get into the smaller, bigger, and bonfire pieces that I bought from that 2-cord load. So, not wood that I would want to give away, but it is what it is. I wanted to make sure that he was happy with the wood that was going to be burnable. I did warn him that some of the bonfire wood may not be fully seasoned on the inside, but if you get it going with smaller pieces, it should be fine. So, I go to his house yesterday, and we pick up a new toy. Do I need another chainsaw like I asked before in the other episode? No, I don't. Do I need another project saw? No, I don't. Here she is, right here. Apparently she runs. Not very well, but she runs. So if I want to understand, so there's no sticker on this side, so we don't really know exactly. So, but I think we can suffice this McCulloch PM 605. I think that's what that is. So I had my local guy look it up. Decent shape. Apparently for the guy that I traded with, she does run. I don't know how well, but I'm thinking that's like an 18-inch bar. Definitely loose. Needs to be loose. A new tightened chain looks pretty hammered. Need to sharpen that. Probably get a new one. Not a safety chain. Definitely it's filthy. That's probably the original bar too. You see some yellow in there. It's definitely filthy. Definitely gross. It says 40-1, so we'll see. I think I have some that will run in it to test it. So definitely a project saw. I need to just to degrease it first. This is all full of bar oil. The guy gave me some bar oil and some True Fuel that he bought for to run it before we made the exchange. So that was kind of cool. So did I make it on the deal? Time will tell if this saw is gonna run and be worthwhile, or if I need to take it to the shop and get it working and running. But my point is trade and barter, because firewood is currency. You can use that to obtain something else that you may need, because you may not have the cash on you to pay for something that you want. I mean, it's not like you're going to the grocery and having to buy groceries with firewood. That's not what I'm saying or not suggesting. I'm saying, like, if you're on like Craigslist, OfferUp, Marketplace type thing, and someone has something for sale, offer them to pay for it in firewood. nowadays still, I mean, because I sold that one cage and traded one more cage for outside pit fires. Now it's getting sunny outside, people want to burn outside. So this is not for warmth, this is for ambience, just for fun, just for the snap, crackle, and pop of the wood. Oh, I was gonna say, because some of the wood was in that first sale, I mentioned that because some of the cedar chunks were maybe not all fully seasoned, I gave the guy a bundle of my non-premium cedar kindling, just as like a kind gesture, just for free to help him get started. So it's stuff like that. Is to kill with kindness. Kill with kindness. Even if you're gonna trade or barter with firewood, or even go backwards, trade a saw for firewood that's seasoned. If you're running out of inventory for your sales or your firewood stand, or you're getting cold in the fall or winter and you need more wood, and you have a few saws laying around, I'm sure that would be of interest to a firewood seller. Say, hey, I have this saw, it may run, it may not, can we trade like 1/3 of a cord or half a cord, whatever, for the saw? It's worth asking. I bet many sellers would be up for that type of trade, or at least be interested in entertaining the idea of a trade. So it's worth a shot. But when you are doing some sort of barter, because I think that a cash transaction is pretty hard and firm, whereas like a trade or a barter is more or less on the grounds of like a general's agreement. Like, I'm giving you this item or service, and then back I need something that is equal or greater value, in my opinion, or to me, to make it worth my time, as opposed to getting cash for or having to pay cash. So when no currency is involved, to make sure that both parties are happy. And like I mentioned just now, when I sold the cage, I was not happy with the quality of wood or the moisture content of the cedar. So I offered to give the guy a free bundle of kindling. Small gesture. I have plenty of kindling and cedar to be made into kindling, so not a big issue on my end, but I make sure that I want to kill the customer in kindness. Not kill the customer, but to kill them with kindness. In a barter situation, make sure that everyone is on the same page and happy, to make sure that all is cool. So I make sure that it was heaped, make sure that the trade guy that I'm in trade with, that he was totally cool with what he was getting. Like, again, I sent a bunch of pictures of the loaded cage. He seemed fine with that. And then when I got there to explain what the wood was, maybe the bigger pieces may not be fully seasoned, but here's some smaller pieces. So he seemed totally content and satisfied with that trade, and that seemed to work out. So I think that is kind of overmissed. People are totally, when they sell wood, totally only into the money part, which I get. I think a lot of us do it for the money. This can be a very lucrative business, especially when you get the wood for free. But it's how you get the wood for free and the ROI on it. If you're paying for the wood in like pole form, that may be a different story, where to trade and barter may be different, or you wouldn't want to be doing it all the time. It's not like I trade for wood all the time because I want to make money on it, but I enjoy doing it. I feel that I'm really good at selling wood, and I think I've shown that on this channel. So I guess my point is, If you're gonna do some sort of trade or barter with firewood, either to obtain firewood or to let go of firewood to get an item or a service, do it to the point where make sure that the person on the other end, that they are happy, not just satisfied, not just can't, but they are happy. And to do that, make sure that you kill them with kindness. Make sure that you are transparent, you're open about what they are getting. If there's anything issue, be upfront about it. So they're not going to come back to you like 1 hour later, the next day, next month, saying that wasn't fair. That was wrong. I feel cheated. That, to me, that's a terrible feeling. I don't want to leave anyone unsatisfied. This is not cool. You get this weird pit feeling in your stomach, and it's a terrible feeling. So, firewood is currency. This wood here equals money. Maybe not now, maybe not tomorrow. In time, it will be money. And consider the art of trading and barter. I literally have a master's degree in mitigation and negotiation. But when it comes to negotiating a fair price or I want this for that type of thing, I admit I'm not very good at that. But I think if you approach it with a kind tone, you'll get what you want and not have to give too much more than what you think the item is worth on your end, if that makes sense to you all. So, trade, barter, kill with kindness. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. I want to make sure that my viewers understand this. I appreciate you. I know that I have a small but growing following, and it's a really, really cool feeling. And I want to remain humble about that. And on that note too, I think it may be not necessarily in our culture here in North America. It could be worldwide. I can't speak to it, but what I want to say is, men as we get older, I don't think it's the same for women, but for men as we get older, we have a tendency to let me sit down and let's chat for a second. Let's chat for a second here. Men have a tendency to have a hard time with maintaining or finding new friends. I don't know what it is. It's weird. I don't mind making new friends and maintaining them. Just things, life happens, it gets in the way. I don't know what it is, but I will say, with the channel and the podcast, I have made some new friends from the Firewood community, and I am blessed by that. It's to the point where I'm texting with new friends almost on a daily basis, and mostly about firewood, but could be for other things too. I mean, you hopefully have seen Mike's episode that he put out yesterday. He's from the first interview on the podcast. He cut himself the other week with this chainsaw. Luckily, he was not very bad, but I found out, and I was devastated. I was very nervous and scared for the guy. Luckily, it was not that bad. But it's one of those things where to have that camaraderie and outlet. Not everyone's gonna understand how bad a cut from a chainsaw can be. Luckily, Mike is okay. And if you want to watch the episode, it's linked right here. But I am thankful for the friends that I have made through the channel, through the podcasts, and I look forward to new friendships that will be made through the channel. And I hope that if you felt a connection with someone on the podcast, to reach out to them as well. You may not need to call them every day, just maybe email, just to have questions. I'm sure every one of the people who I interview on the podcast would be more than welcome to hear from you other viewers, if you have a question about how they're doing things inside barbecue wood to conveyors, all that stuff, or to get any further insight about how they do firewood in their specific locations. Because a lot of us don't have that outlet. If you are obsessed with firewood, if you consider yourself a firewood addict, you may not have that outlet to ask people about firewood, and have the conversation ongoing about firewood, or all that it is firewood, is a cool feeling. And I hope that you all are able to reach out to potentially the people who I interview on the podcast, to maybe have some more camaraderie there with them. I haven't asked the permission, but I'm sure they've emailed them. They'd be willing to chat with you, or to email back and forth for some questions. So my point was that I am so my heart is full with the amount of support that I've received thus far on the channel, the amount of friends that I have gained over the last few months from the channel. It's a great feeling, and I am very thankful. So I look forward to growing the channel with you all. If you have any more ideas, please let me know. But I wanted to share a heartfelt thank you for you all, for viewing, and subscribing, and for all your comments. So I hope this episode made sense. I hope that it was worthwhile, entertaining. Thank you for viewing. Rock and roll. Stay safe. Keep cutting. Cheers.